Shalom, people. Allow me to pose a question to you. When it comes to the subject of marriage, who is it that actually has the power to determine whether or not the union of the man and the woman actually happens? Between the two participants, the male, the female, have those two, who truly has the power to determine whether or not a union is formed and potentially lasts for the rest of those individuals' natural lives? Which one? Which of the two? For those of you who think it all falls on to the man to determine whether or not the marriage happens, consider this. Is it not the custom in Western nations that the initiation of the union be triggered via the custom of popping the question, where the man poses a question to the woman? That's all he can do, is pose a question. That's it. And then from there, whether or not that union happens is determined solely by the answer he receives from the woman. That is how marriage is conducted in Western civilization. That is how marriage is conducted in lands ruled by Christianity. The only power the man has is the power to ask. From there, all of the power is in the hands of the woman. She determines whether or not the union happens. And given the sway that she has in the court system, she can determine how long the union goes. Whenever she says she's had enough, the courts usually rule in her favor. There's been many YouTubers that have talked about this. I mean, there's no reason for me to get into how much sway women have in the court system. I mean, that's a worn out subject that thousands of YouTubers have gone over. But I think it just underlines the reality that though we've been convinced that America has been a nation ruled by men, it has not. Truly, women have been ruling this country. They have been given the power to determine whether or not the union of a man and woman can happen. And through that union, the creation of new life, the man, the woman, eventually comes babies. That's the way it's supposed to work officially. You marry someone and then you have children, then you have a family. Well, considering that union can only happen if the woman says yes, she has the power to determine whether or not procreation can continue amongst humans. Not only that, but once she has given birth to those children, once again, she's been given the power over who can have those children, just in case if the union doesn't work out. Most often the courts will rule in favor of the woman. Again, that is another subject that many YouTubers have gone over countless times. I don't need to go down that road. But these are the things that we have come to accept, but not see. Deal with, but not understand. The trick has been to convince men that they've been in charge. The trick has been to convince men that what they want is what really is happening. That's been the whole trick. Why? Well, early on in this nation's history, before the technological advancements, things got done solely on the backs of men. Muscle, sweat, blood, all spilled from men. It took the men to build the nation. The women could not do that. So, in order to get the men to be willing to make the sacrifices necessary to build the nation, to do the dangerous jobs, to fight the wars, to pillage the lands, to commit the ultimate sin of murder, the women had to convince the men that they were the ones in charge. So, the feminists, those who worship the female deities, they took a back seat and had their male figureheads guide the way. Now, some of you may say, well, that's kind of a stretch, but consider this. When it comes to the religion of Catholicism, you have two deity-like beings that consideration is given to. You have, of course, JC, OJC. Then you have his supposed mother, the Virgin Mary. Now consider that word very closely, virgin, so that you can understand what I'm about to say here. The way the Most High has things set up on this planet naturally is that the creation of new life is a process that requires both sexes, both genders. The man provides the seed, the woman provides the egg. Yet you have the Virgin Mary, untouched, unravaged by the wilds of men. the Virgin Mary was somehow, some way able to produce life without the involvement of man. Think about that. Is that not the ultimate empowerment for a woman to be able to bring new life into this world without the involvement of men? Is that not the ultimate feminist dream? And when it comes to old JC, JC represents your patriarchal figurehead. The white settlers of this country, while committing their acts, while doing their jobs, while building this nation, they paid homage to JC. JC, the patriarchal figurehead for Mary, the Virgin. It's been right there in front of your face this whole time. That is the Queen of Heaven. That is the one who wishes to supplant the Most High, to remove the male from the process of the creation of life. That is what she represents. Old JC has just been the way to get the white man and other men to play along. There it is right there. I imagine a lot of people have figured this out, but there's still a lot of folk who have not, so it still needs to be talked about. When I say the feminists have been running the show this whole time, look no further than the concept of the Virgin Mary and her son, Jesus Christ. And you will have the perfect illustration. Shalom.